Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay, so good evening once again. Thank you for inviting me, no. Salamat kasi every time I have this privilege to share my not my expertise but the knowledge that I got from my studies, talagang masaya ako because I don't want just to parang to just keep it up for myself, no, kasi I need to disciple more people to help people. So hi everyone. So we will be discussing about group process and group dynamic, no? And I know for sure that the reason why you invited me is because you want to expand your ministry and you also see the demand of people coming to you and you want to help them, no? Kaso lang kulang sa time. Ang dami nila para sa konti natin, no? Most especially at this time that there are a lot of young people who are in need of help, who are in need of kuyas and ates who wants to listen to them and who want to journey with them. But we only have a little of time to do those things because that's not the only thing that we are doing, no, every day. Ang dami nating ginagawa. So this time parang ang nakikita ninyo is group process, no, or what you call this group counseling, group therapy. I'll later explain to you what are the differences of those terminologies. So and that's why I'm here. I know this group talks about theology, talks about Bible and some uh, those stuff, but this time this is technical. This is parang a lecture type or lecture kind of meeting. Pero sana ma-enjoy nyo pa rin. At sana maintindihan nyo kung ano ang importance nito, no? Because I know most of you, if not all, are leaders. And we want to expand or we want to enhance more our leadership skill. And perhaps what we will be doing today, what I will be sharing to you to this evening is um, very essential when it comes to leadership, when it comes to handling people. So, welcome to our um, lecture type meeting, and we will be discussing about group process and group dynamic. So, I'll be sharing to you my screen. Saan ba dito? Okay. Okay. So, it's stated there, group process for psychospiritual healing. So very, very vague and very highfalutin yung word na psychospiritual, no? But we will understand. Yeah, that later. Okay, if I could still have time to um discuss it to you. So this time, before we will go to the proper discussion, I want to ask, no, sa inyo kung sino dito ang nag-handle ng group, small group, D group, what kind of growth group, basta group. Sino dito ang nag-handle na ng group? Taas kamay. Yes, yes, I see one hand. Okay, 2, 3. Halos lahat pala kayo, no? Okay, halos lahat pala kayo. Okay, so this time, perhaps hindi na bago sa inyo ito, no? Itong handling of groupings. Okay. Do you want to share to me your experience in handling small group? Kahit dalawa lang sa inyo ang mag-share. Just tell me, ano ang experience ninyo when it comes to small groups or handling small group? Anyone?
Sa akin, Pastor, masaya actually na
Yeah.
nakakabuhay, tapos maraming concerns na lumalabas. Merong mga
Yeah.
parang alam mo parang pagpakinggan mo sila, parang, ay, meron kang advice mabigay. Minsan, parang magets mo lang, ganito. Pero meron din mga times na merong mga issues na malabas na parang, hala, hindi ko may alam. Like, hala, paano to siya
Yeah,
tulungan? Ganun. So, marami,
right.
very exciting siya and very, may mga unpredictable siya na mga elements. Parang ganun.
Wow, unpredictable elements. Grabe. No, so tama, no? Medyo complex nga when it comes to small group kasi iba-iba ang mga attitudes, characters sa loob ng small group natin. Yes. Thank you, Obed, no, for sharing your experience. Ano yung mga difficulties? Sige, parang sinabi ni Obed kanina na merong mga difficulties or parang complex or mahirap gawin. Pero can we specify those mga difficulties na encounter natin when it comes to groupings, small group? Yes, yes. Sino ba yan? Hindi ko makita yung mga names ninyo. Sorry Sige
Clan
lang
K,
kung...
si Clan K,
Ay,
Pastor.
hello, Clem K. Hello. Sige,
Yes.
You share daw some difficulties.
Sa small group sometimes you don't know if they trust you or not. Or if they are sometimes kasi murag they are not opening so much.
Yeah.
And dayon sometimes you don't know how to handle or make syempre na kung ikaw na nag-handle sila, ikaw na magulang, wrong, you want to help them with what they are going through, ana. But sometimes even if you want to pray, you don't know how to do it and what are the right words to say or what are the actions that you can do to help them because you are limited, something like that, Pastor PJ.
Yes. Correct, Len K. Limited talaga tayo. And that's why we have this kind of discussions, workshop, trainings for us to enhance more our skills. I believe na you want to be used by God by this kind of ministry, but sometimes limited tayo, no? And that's why I want you to be excited because this evening we'll be able to understand more about group counseling, group therapy, and group process. So, but before that, I want to define first to you what is a group, no? Kasi we've been using this, no? And we want to understand it. I know you have some parang kumbaga thoughts or ideas about this, but perhaps this definition can help us more understand the word. So group is defined as a number, wait lang as a number of individuals bound together by a community of interest, purpose, or function. So, just wait. Medyo nagkakaproblema ako sa... Okay. That's according to Webster Third New World International Dictionary. So, it's a number of individuals, different people meeting together, no? When you say bound, bound together as a community or the same interests or the same purpose or function. So you meet together and then you talk about your interests, your purpose, the purpose of the meeting, the purpose of the group or the function. Okay, but we want to narrow it down, no? Although we have this kind of definition, but I want to explain to you further in a professional discipline definition. Because I am a counselor, I want to let you understand the definition of group, no, sa counseling naman aside. So counseling groups are characterized by interaction. So there should be an interaction when it comes to counseling group, and they are functional or goal-oriented group, meaning when you form a group, there is a goal that needs to be achieved. No? So group counseling or counseling group are functional, no? And it has a direction, it has a destination. No, it's not just you are forming a group and you don't know where to go, you don't know what to achieve. But once you have this counseling group, you know where you are going, you know your destination. So, and then aggregate groups without interaction of the members are not functioning groups. So kung meron kayong grupo at saka ikaw lang ang nagsasalita at walang interaction, and then ikaw lang yung nagsasalita, that's preaching. Or that is a sermon, no? You are not doing a group counseling or group process or growth group, no? Minsan meron tayong nasalihan na group kung hindi tayo ang nasalihan na group na natapos na lang ang group study or whatever is that, na hala, siya lang nagsasalita lahat, no? So grupo ba yun or nag-lecture siya, no? So kung walang interaction, then ibig sabihin yung group na yan hindi nagpa-function. So teka muna. So there are 3 levels of various group activities, no? Tinatawag natin, ang first is the guidance level, no? Second, the counseling level, and then the third is the therapy level. Okay, I'll explain to you what are those mga levels, no? So first is the group guidance. Ang group counseling refers to the routine, mali. Group counseling. That is wrong, ha? Group guidance yan siya. Bakit hindi ako? Yan. Group guidance. The group guidance refers to group activities that focus on providing information or experiences through a planned or organized group activity. So example of group guidance activities are orientation group, no? Career exploration groups, college visitation days, and classroom guidance, or tinatawag natin yung like for example sa inyong na grupo, no? Like this, no? Theologians group or young people who loves theology group, no? Yan yung mga group guidance, no? Guidance is also organized to prevent the development of problems. Like for example, we want to have a psychoeducation. Later I will explain to you what is that psychoeducation, no? Now you want to educate the people about abstinence. O, di ba? Yung abstinence, no? Or purity, lalo-lalo na ngayon, yung Valentine's Day or Heart's Day pas approaching na, hala, ang dami mga, yung purity, yung mga ganon. Those are group guidance. And the content could include educational, vocational, personal, or social information with a goal of providing students with accurate information that will help them make more appropriate plans and life decisions. So usually, ang grupo natin ay ganito. Okay? Itong group guidance. Itong ginagawa ninyo every Tuesday. Group guidance yan, yung ginagawa niyo. So let's go to the second level. What is the second level? The second level is group counseling. Refers to the routine adjustment of developmental experiences provided in a group setting. So group counseling focuses on assisting counselees. So when we talk about counseling, those people who are part of the group are called counselees, no? So group counseling focuses on assisting counselees to cope with their day-to-day adjustments and development concerns. Like for example, they have a problem in their studies, no? They are not doing well with their studies, and they are they are out of focus. So you decide to have a group counseling, like, okay, let's have a group counseling that helps these young people who will become what? This group counseling will help them to become to do good or to do better in their studies. So that is group counseling. No, you are not educating them, but you are helping them to become more functional when it comes to their studies. No, so yan yung group counseling. Examples might focus on modification, behavior modification. So when we say behavior modification, you are trying to help them na maging maayos ang buhay nila, yung behavior nila. For example, anger, no? They have these anger issues. So all of them have these anger issues, and then you gather them. Then let's talk about anger. So what about anger? So we'll talk about anger. Then how will we be able to process anger? So that is group counseling. Kung group guidance naman, tapos we're talking about anger, so you are just lecturing. Anger is like this, na. Pero when you do group counseling, you are helping them process their anger. You are not lecturing them, but you are counseling them as a group. Understand? para akong teacher, no? Okay, and then not just behavior modification, developing personal relationship skills. Then, like for example, you want them to have to develop their personal relationship skills, uh, to have them, anong tawag yan, develop their confidence. Then create a group counseling. And then concerns of human sexuality. Like for example, we talk about LGBT, and these are the group of young people who have these struggles with their gender identity. Then you can form a group counseling. And values or attitudes or career decision makings, like they don't understand what to do to their life and what would be their calling or ang kanilang gustong mangyari sa buhay nila, then you can create a group counseling. So that is the second level. The third level is group therapy. Ito, medyo malalim-lalim na to, no? Group therapy provides intense experiences for people with serious adjustment, so emotional or developmental needs. So it is called therapy because there are interventions that you will be using, no? And only those people who are who have this this kind of profession, like for example, the guidance counselor, the psychotherapist, the psychologists, and the psychiatrists, and the counselors are the ones doing this group therapy. So therapy groups are usually distinguished from counseling groups by both the length of time and the depth of experience of those involved. So therapy group participants often are individuals with chronic mental or emotional disorders requiring major personality reconstruction. So medyo malalim na ito, no? Hindi natin kailangan pumunta dito sa ganitong level na to. So group therapies obviously require higher level of training. Kasi pag-usapan ninyo dito yung interventions, ano bang gagamitin ko dito? Group CBT ba to? Group psychotherapy ba to? Group gestalt ba to? So, ang dami. So, if you don't have those kind of knowledge, huwag muna tayong pupunta doon. Dito lang tayo sa group counseling, no? Or group guidance. So meron din iba pang mga groupings, but they are considered as part of the three primary groups, no? So the first, the other groups na tinatawag natin na T groups are derivatives of training groups. So saan siya nabibilong? 'Di ba doon yan siya sa group guidance. So T groups are they represent the application of laboratory training methods to group work. So T group represent effort to create a society in miniature with an environment designed especially for learning. So T groups are relatively unconstructed groups in which the participants become responsible for what they learn and how they learn it. No, so this learning experience also usually includes assumption appropriate to T groups is that learning is more effective when the individual establishes authentic relationship with others. So what we are doing is that, like for example, the T groups, kumbaga, when you have this, you create a society na pag-usapan yung studies ninyo. No? Like for example, the medical doctors, they talk about things that about on how they will enhance their um uh yung mga programs nila, no? So you will have your T groups. Another group naman is sensitivity groups. In actual practice, the label sensitivity groups appears to be applied so frequently and broadly as to be almost meaningless. So in a more technical sense, however, a sensitive group is a form of T group but focuses on personal and interpersonal issues and on the personal growth of the individual. So ito parang kumbaga you will talk about personal and interpersonal issues, like for example uh, your problem of coping with or staying in a relationship. So we'll talk about that, but for your own good, no? Kumbaga, you are not helping each other. I'm here to enhance myself, but I need a group to discuss that. So there's an emphasis in sensitivity groups on self-insight, which means that the central focus is not the group and it's a progress, but rather and its progress, but rather the individual member. I will not stay long sa mga kuanos sa mga to explain that kasi ang dami ko pang pwedeng sabihin. So encounter groups. Pero mga encounter groups are also in a T group family. Although they are more therapy oriented. So si Carl Rogers defined an encounter group as a group that stresses personal growth through the development and improvement of interpersonal relationships via an experiential group process. So such groups seek to release the potential of the participant. So in an intensive group, with much freedom and little structure, the individual will gradually feel safe enough to drop some of the defenses and facades. So he will relate more directly on the feeling basis. So with other members of the group. So he will come to understand himself and his relationship to others more accurately, and he will subsequently relate more effectively to others in everyday life. So it is called encounter groups kasi they'll know the person will know that he's not alone in his battle, no? Because there are um, uh, people who have the same issues na meron sa kanya. And through that, yung defenses and facades niya, no? Like for example, si Lenke nagsabi kanina, ang hirap kasi minsan hindi sila nagsasalita and feeling nila parang hindi sila open, no? That is an indicator that the group is not yet safe, no? The members of the group is not yet safe to share their feelings. So once the group will go down and the group will go deeper in the relationship, no? They will drop some of the defenses and facades na. Like for example, pagka nakita niya na merong nasabi yung iba, magagalit na siya, no? So ibig sabihin, kaya na niyang ipakita yung kung anong nasa loob niya, no? So that is encounter group. And then task group are organized to meet organizational needs through task forces or other organizational groups, or to serve individual needs of clients through such activities as social action groups. So alam niyo natin tong task group, no? Nag-meet sila together and then they talk about how they will do the task. And so in agency counseling centers, task group may be organized to assist clients in dealing with wide spectrum of needs ranging from spiritual to educational. And then psychoeducational group, parang kuan din to, no? Group guidance, no? Psychoeducation groups emphasize cognitive and behavioral skills development in groups structured to teach these skills and knowledge. So like for example, you talk about depression, and then you will have this you will meet with the group and you will discuss you will psychoeducate them about depression. So these groups tend to be short-term in duration and focus on specifications within the group related to the group theme. So like for example, you talk about depression, you talk about mental health. So that is psycho education. And then the last is mini groups. Although technically two or more people can constitute a group, the use of the term mini group has become increasingly popular in recent years, no, to denote a counseling group that is smaller than usual. So a mini group usually consists of one counselor and a maximum of 4 clients. So because of the smaller number of participants, there can be certain advantages resulting from the more frequent and direct interactions of the group members. So withdrawal by individuals and the development of factions or cliques are less likely a mini group. So those are the groups that we tend to have, no? So may I ask, what kind of group do you have this time? Based from the groups that we've been discussing a while ago, so what kind of group do you have?
Pastor PJ, ano,
Yes po.
para maintindihan din niyo ang BTM, no? Ang BTM na kasi meron na kaming parang ano, while listening, nakita ko na within BTM meron palang different types of groups. So ang ganda. Pero I just want to clarify pala, ano yung difference ng encounter pati nung sensitivity group?
Okay. Yung sensitivity, part pa rin sila na sa T groups, no? So in sensitivity, the label sensitivity groups appears to be what applied so frequently and broadly, no, to be almost meaningless. So meaning, ang sensitivity group, they have this kumbaga, I just want to give you an example. I joined the group. I joined the group that talks about premarital sex. Okay. Okay. So I joined the group that talks about premarital sex, and then because I want to understand what is premarital sex, it is about me, no? So which means that the central focus is not the group. It's not because I want to help people, no? I want to help people, but I want to what? I want to develop my own self. Like for example, I want to get out from doing the premarital sex. So, ang sensitivity group, I will not share, no? Para siyang T groups, para siyang group guidance, no? I'm just there and just understand what is premarital sex and then absorb it. So ito pala yung gagawin ko next time, no? Based from the lecture or based from the what is discussed in the group. Understand? But the encounter, you will share. You'll share, no? You will share. Like for example, we will talk about the premarital sex. So the person will say, ako, I have an experience. No, I am a Christian, but I'm still doing a premarital sex. No, so I could also relate. Like for example, sabihin ko rin na like, yes, ako din nagawa ko rin yan noon and ganito. So from that, you have this discussion, no? You have this kumbaga there is an interaction inside, no? So the work this time is not just about the person who wants to get out from the premarital sex, but let's help one another. Do you understand? Let's help one another and let us talk about this because I am with you. We have the same issues in life. We have the same issues to face. So let's help one another based from the discussions that we have. So mas clear ba siya?
Yes, Pas. Parang more of encounter is with interaction. Tapos yung sensitivity, wala masyadong interaction, ano?
Yes, because you are trying your best to, kumbaga, trying your best to just keep it to yourself. But I'm here. I'll listen, but it's not for me to help you. It's not for me to share myself to you. No, I'm just here to understand myself. Ako lang ang ako lang ang magpa-process nito. But in the encounter, parang all of you are helping one another to process based from the experiences that you have done, that you have, no. So all of you will learn from each other. Okay lang?
Yeah, very clear yun siya, Pas. So sa within
Okay.
BTM, actually parang nakita namin medyo flexible kami, Pas. Like how hindi kami like box na, ay ano tayo ngayon, task group tayo. Ay ngayon, ano, hindi kami ganun. Parang more of kami very flexible. So what we
Yeah.
do, like pag merong mag-lecture, like last time I was lecturing on cyclothymia and adjustment disorder and I was sharing my experience ganun. Parang ano siya, parang more of siya sensitivity kasi meron sa kanila going through baka similar experiences on depression or anxiety. Pero afterwards, after every session namin, ginagawa namin yung tinatawag namin na MAOI sessions. So yung MAOI session, parang naging ano na siya, parang technical term na siya sa BTM, wherein people will just open up their struggles. So sometimes they don't open up, no? Sometimes they open up mga politics or whatever. Pero a lot of times they open up their struggles sa bahay, struggles with their studies, with their spiritual life, specific sins, specific mga bad habits, ganun. So, and then we help one another during those mga MAOI sessions. So parang tapos yung ano din yung mga tinatawag namin na mga BTM tribes, like yung tribe Alethea, tribe Lev, para kaming task group kasi we address certain needs like like kami ang report namin Ecclesiastes ganun, tapos sila ito naman ang report nila. So parang ganun ba, delegate ng mga task. Pero within
Yeah.
tribes din, meron din kami pagka-flexible kasi like sa amin, sa tribe namin, sa tribe Alethea, nagmi-meet kami mga once a month, ganun, or once every 2 months na maging parang encounter group wherein we discuss each other's issues, we pray for one another, ganun. So may pagka ano siya, parang flexibility. Though hindi talaga siya like technical na, group therapy or group counseling. Pero parang ganun siya, Pas, within BTM.
Yes. Right. It is good that you are able to see kung saan kayo nagrupo, no? So that you will know kung ano ba talaga, anong klaseng grupo tayo, and ano tayo, no? Yung identity natin as a group. So that's really important. So at least this time you're able to learn to know kung anong klaseng grupo tayo meron. Okay, so let's continue. Thank you, Obeda, for sharing. So why are groups effective? No, first is efficiency. A leader can work more effective through a well-organized group program than by working solely on individual basis. No, two heads are better than one. Jesus Christ even has his disciples, not because he cannot do it on his own, but he knows the power of a team. He knows on how the team will do something. No, how the team can do something extraordinary. So when we talk about group counseling or group process or whatever groups that we have, kumbaga we are admitting that we cannot do it on our own only, no, and we can expand more having a group, no, being with a group, no. So because sometimes we know better, pero when we are in a group, we will learn from each other and we will understand things, no, from the dynamic inside the group. So efficiency. And then second is the greater variety of resources and viewpoints, no. So in the group, when you discuss things, you will learn a lot, no. Hindi mo makukuha yan sa libro. Sometimes yung libro, mas madadagdagan pa natin because there is a discussion happening inside the group, no? So there are resources and viewpoints na pwede mo makuha. And the presence of other people offers more viewpoints, hence resources. So that's really important. That's why I am so happy that you have this kind of group, no? That you study together, you enhance your skill together, and kumbaga, you brainstorm together. And because of that, there are so many things that you've learned, no? Hindi ko na, yun na nga, ang dami nyo na sigurong alam, no? Na mga bagay-bagay dahil sa grupo na ito. So, reasons, okay, sorry. So the reasons common to therapy, growth, and support groups, no? Because the feeling of sharing common ground. So when we have this group, no, we could have the feeling of sharing common ground. Like we know that we have this common ground. Like for example, I will ask you this time, what is your common ground as a group? Can you share? Who can answer?
Sir
Ano yung
JM
common
daw.
ground din yan?
Si Sir JM daw, Pas.
Yes, Sir JM. Nandyan po ba pa kayo? Hindi ko alam kung nandyan pa kayo eh.
Sir
We
JM.
are Christians, pastor, and believers of Christ.
Christians and believers of Christ. Other than that, what is your common ground?
We have the same weaknesses.
You have the same weaknesses? I want to know. What are your weaknesses na you can say we're the same? We have the same weakness. What's that? We are the same witnesses or weaknesses?
Weaknesses, pastor, and ang weakness na mo, pastor, comes with our kanang same me og ages, same me og kanang struggles siguro ana, and we also have kanang common nga mga interest that are
Yes.
our common grounds.
Right. So there are so many things that we can say that this is our common ground. So when you have that, people discover that they are not alone. No, sometimes when you're battling yourself alone, you're battling with with issues alone. You thought that you are too dirty. You thought that you are the only person who had that kind of struggle. But when you have this group, you will know, hala, I'm not alone. And that other people have thoughts and feelings similar to theirs, no? So the feeling of commonality or universality, no, is helpful and therapeutic to most individuals, which cannot develop in individual counseling. No, like for example, when we talk about a person who cannot stop masturbating. So I'll just be specific here, ha. Huwag kayong ma-shock kasi those are realities, no? So for example, like that, no. So whenever the person that you feel, grabe ako naman talaga nito. But when we talk about that, like how can we overcome that kind of weakness, no? So the person will feel kuan ba? It's therapeutic, will be helped, like yeah, meron din pala siya. So sabi kumbaga I could say na hindi lang pala ako ang merong problema nito. So there's it will provide a sense of we-ness, like we, that is greatly reassuring. Okay? So that is another reason why group is therapeutic. Second is the experience of belonging. No, members will often identify with each other and thus feel part of a whole. No, the experience of being accepted is one of the most important features of the group. So, we keep on when we go out, no, we usually have our own facade. We have our own mask that we are wearing because when we feel vulnerable, parang feeling natin pwede tayong maabuso. But we long for a place or for a group na pwede tayo maging tayo, na hindi tayo i-judge, na I belong and I can say what I want to say because this person or this group of people understand me. So when we have that kind of group, no, we will experience that we are belong. Okay, so and we are accepted. And then another common reason or another reasons why that why groupings is therapeutic is the chance to practice on one another. In the Bible, there are so many verses that will tell us about one anothering, no? Ang dami, no? And that is really our our design because we are relational beings. We cannot we cannot just live on our own. We need a community. We need of people, and that's why back in Acts, back in the early Christians, no, uh, they meet together, they break bread together, they even sell their possessions to help one another. A lot of verses that will talk about that will tell us about one anothering. And once we have this kind of group, no, we practice one another. No, that's why I just don't want you to have a sensitivity group or a psychoeducation group or group guidance, but I want you to have a group wherein it will connect the lives of the people. That let's go personal. Let's not just enhance or try to widen our understanding about something, but let's try to help one another. So group provides an arena for safe practice. No, so members practice the new skills and behaviors they have learned in a supportive environment before trying them in real world context. So another form of practicing in the group is experimentation with the new behaviors while relating to one another during the sessions. So you know, ako as a group therapist, no, I'm able to handle group counseling, pero every day I could see the dynamic of the people inside, no. Every session pala, not every day. Every session I could see the dynamic of the people under this group. Na as they become, as they talk together, they have this empathy with each other because they understand each other. And then not just that, they are helping one another, no. So until the time na hindi na ako nagsasalita, they are the ones talking each other, and it's therapeutic. So that is the beauty of having a group. And then another thing is that the opportunities for varied feedback. Groups provide opportunity for members to receive feedback in group, in which behavior rehearsal is a major component. So the suggestions, reactions, and perceptions of other can be valuable. And you will also see kumbaga, the uh, the reaction of the person that receives the feedback. So parang minsan no natakot, like for example, merong isang grupo, no, na nagdi-discuss about pornography and how they are so addicted with pornography, so they meet together to just discuss that, no. Tapos hanggang sa yung isang tao, parang nag-grow na sila, yung isang tao hulog pa rin ng hulog, no. Tapos sabihin niya, sinasabi, bakit ka nahuhulog lagi? Meron na nga tayong counseling na ganito, bakit ka nahulog lagi? Yung isa nagsasabi, no? Sasabihin niya, ikaw din naman na, ganun ka rin naman na. So, yung mga pag-uusap nila, yung the way sila mag-react or the way sila mag-interact, those are therapeutic, no? Kahit nagbabangayan sila, you can also still say that there is this therapy inside the discussion. So when we have this small group, there is an opportunity for varied feedback. And then also the vicarious learning from others' concerns. So in many kinds of groups, clients frequently discuss issues that are very meaningful to other members. So that is, they have opportunity to hear another present concerns similar to their own. So the positive value of vicarious learning has been discussed by a number of authors like Bandura, Cutler, and Osen or Yalom. So sinare ko na to sa inyo kanina, no, na parang kumbaga they will understand that they learn from the person kung paano niya na overcome yung struggles niya, or they learn it kung paano ano yung way of coping ng isang tao, and with that nakaka-learn yung bawat isa, no? So it's therapeutic. And then the approximation to real life encounters. Group comes closer to replicating real life than does one-to-one therapy. Why, man? Why is it that group come closer to real life than one-to-one therapy? So the social context of the group experience is valuable in many other ways. Not only are maladaptive emotions and behavior scrutinized and corrected, members are also given opportunity to discover how people honestly react to them over a period of weeks and months. 'Di ba yung sinabi ko sa inyo, no? Minsan merong isang tao na advisor sa grupo kasi different character ang nasa loob eh. Like for example, meron ding isa um, advisor na, uy, wag ka kasing ganyan, bakit ka ganyan, ganyan, no? Meron ding isa na kumbaga anong tawag diyan, yung masyadong reactive. So lumalabas yung totoo nila, no? Lumalabas yung totoo nila na sa loob. Unlike sa one-to-one therapy, minsan we can fake pa no na I'm okay, I'm better, no? Pero based from the person's feedback or based from the person's story, lumalabas yung totoo natin, no? So there are so many emotions na lumalabas whenever we have this group process. So in addition, they are exposed to a variety of human behaviors and attitudes, encouragement, support, anger, confrontation, genuineness, rigidity, and so on. So being exposed to this in a group environment enables them to learn methods of relating and coping that they may in turn carry over to their everyday living. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay lang kayo? Nandiyan pa ba kayo? Baka wala
Yes,
na
Pas.
kayo.
Andito pa. Guys, you can just chat your questions kay Pastor. Ito pala, Pas, I don't know if talaga siya related, pero somehow, ano pala yung difference ng therapist pati ng counselor? Kasi meron kasi kami parang isang member sa BTM na parang ganun yung concern niya. Ano yung difference between counselor and therapist?
Okay. Therapist, yun yung tao na talagang professional, na professionalize niya yung pagiging yung mag-handle ng counseling or therapy, no? Like for example, yung mga psychoanalysis ay psychodynamic people, no? Yung mga nakapag-aral doon na specialized nila yung about counseling. So they are called therapists. Pero pagdating sa like for example, counselor, very vague kasi yan, very vague na title. Kasi like even ang pastors, we are also called counselors, no? Like for example, when you counsel something, depende sa kung anong klaseng way of counseling na ginagawa mo. Then you are counseling. But when it comes to therapy, you are already talking about the disorders, the maladaptive behavior of the person, and then you are also having your own intervention. So yun yung mga malalalim na mga problema. So you're talking about the anong tawag yan, na mga psychotic na mga tao or neurotic na mga tao. no? Wag niyo na nang intindihin kung ano yung psychotic. Yung mga psychotic, yun yung mga bipolar, yun yung mga um, anong tawag yan? Yung mga antisocial na mga tao, mga schizophrenic people, yun yung mga psychotic. Yung mga neurotic naman, yun yung mga tinatawag natin ng mga disorders, no? Ano may yung mga disorders na yun? Yung mga OCCD, no? Obsessive compulsive, and then yung mga depressed, no? Depressive disorder, yung mga ganon. So, yun yung mga neurotic people. So, yun yung mga tao na talagang pinag-aralan nila yung mga bagay na yon. So, yun yung pwede natin silang tawaging therapist. Pero yung sa counselor, very vague. Again, vague na siya kasi even pastors, pwede akong tawaging counselor. Pwede, like for example, when you do some things, your counseling or something, pwede, no? Or guidance counselors, no? So, kumbaga, or tinatawag natin yung iba, clinical counselors. So, when we talk about clinic, like for example, yung kumbaga, you're trying to diagnose the person, helping the person understand his own self, no? Pero when it comes to talagang helping the person to become functional or to use intervention, then yun na yung mga therapists, yun na yung mga gumagawa nun. Nasagot ko lang ba, Obed, yung tanong mo?
Yes, Pas. Thank you.
Okay. So, minsan no, nahirapan tayo gumamit ng mga terminologies kasi like for example, therapist ko siya or something na ganun. So, or counselor ko siya. Tayo pwede natin kasi when you do counseling, you're trying to advise, you're trying to help the person understand his own self. You're doing counseling naman. So, you are safe, no, to use the word counseling or counselor. So, goals of different groups, no? Like for example, kanina yung sinabi ko sa inyo, I shared to you all those mga groups, no? Kinds of groups. Now this time, kailangan ba ninyo to? Pero try kong i-share to sa inyo, ha? Like for example, if you will have an educational group, ang goal nyo is to inform the members about some topics and to have them share with one another their learning or experiences and questions. So like for example, you have this BTM, and this is somehow an educational group. Am I right? Tama ba ko?
Yes, Pas. Yes, Pas.
So this is somehow an educational group. So you need to inform the members about some topics, no? To have them share with one another their learning. So yun yung educational group. So ang bawa, discussion groups. The goal are to get members to share their knowledge and opinions and to discuss some issue or topic. So like itong BTM parang meron din tong pagka-discussion group, right? So educational group kayo at the same time discussion group. At parang ito din, task group, no? To get a task accomplished, sometimes another goal is simply to get people together for the social contact. Some dynamics typical of task groups are lack of agreement on what the task is. So yun yung goal natin when it comes to task group, no? So parang ang BTM ganyan din. Let's see, ito mutual sharing groups. Ang goal naman ng mutual sharing groups is the goal of sharing group is to be supportive. So the support is experience through members sharing their stories and through listening to and caring for each other. No? So mutual sharing group. Ito bang mutual sharing group? Parang counseling na rin ito. Parang group counseling na rin ito. Somehow, it is in the level of group counseling, no? Yung tatlo kanina parang nasa group guidance, no? So itong mutual sharing groups parang sa group counseling, pero hindi lang masyadong malalim. You are just there to share your stories, you share your experiences, and then also the other person who can relate your story will also share their stories. No? And then after that, you show your empathy to each other, and then you'll be encouraged by the empathy na ibigay ng bawat grupo. That is mutual sharing group. And then also, itong growth groups naman, growth groups are, the goal of this growth group are to get members to improve their current lives by examining facilitators, by examining values, personal issues, and their interpersonal relationships. So, two dynamics that the facilitator must be aware of is members having vastly different needs and members varying greatly in their expectations. So, that is growth groups. So, ang atin sa church, anong klaseng grupo meron tayo sa church? Growth groups ba? Can other also share? Hello? So sa ay naririnig lang ba ako?
Yes, pass. Si
Okay.
Sir Dance daw, gusto niya daw magsagot sa question. Pass.
Okay, sige. Huwag kayong mahiya. Sige. Yes. Growth group siya, no? Growth group siya. Okay.
Yes po.
Ay, sorry. Growth group siya. Teka muna. Bakit nawala? So, paano mo nasabi, Sir Dance, na growth group siya?
Growth groups kasi yung line na there is less commonality among members, though kasi outside sa church they have their own friends and na may kanya-kanyang trip din sa buhay, and then yung common lang talaga namin yung love sa scriptures, yung love kay Jesus. Doon lang talaga kami mostly nag-agree, but on some other times meron ding within the group, meron ding parang micro groups na sila lang yung may the same yung trip nila. So it's the dynamics is parang challenging as bilang leader din.
Correct. Totoo yan, no? Kasi less commonality. Like, for example, you have your own small group this time. You have your growth groups this time. Different character, different issues in life mo. The only commonality na sinabi ni Sir Dance kanina is yung scripture na binabasa natin, and then anong masasabi mo about the scripture? Anong masasabi mo about this? So paano mo yan ma-apply sa life mo? Depende, bahala na kung paano mo i-apply sa life mo kasi different naman tayo, no? So parang ganun yung growth groups. So hindi siya talaga specified group. No? So it is a leader's job to focus on those issues and concerns that are in some way relevant to the majority of the members. So ang trabaho ng leader when you are handling growth groups to observe what are the commonalities, no? Kasi nung pagpasok ninyo, wala naman kayong pinag-usapan na commonalities na unlike sa ibang grupo na they are close group, no? Like for example, this time these young people are delinquent, or these young people are bullies. So we group them together. So and then let's talk about this. So yan, no? So meron na kagad commonality. Pero sa small group, as a growth group, welcome lang tayo ng welcome ng mga tao. And then ang trabaho ng leader, hanapin ko ano pa yung commonality namin para mapag-usapan namin ang concern, no? Based from that one. Kaya mahirap siya kasi it takes discernment from for the leaders to know kung ano yung mga commonalities ng kasama niya. And then the last is the therapy group, no? Therapy groups, ang goal naman nila is the main goal is to provide members with a therapeutic environment in which they can share personal concerns and work on resolving them. So it's not just growth groups, it's not just mutual sharing groups, but what's next? What can we do? No, kung meron tayong ganitong problema, then let's resolve this and let's look for intervention to help ourselves, no, to overcome whatever issues that we have. So the details of their lives takes place in the hope of working through some of their pain and concerns. So yun yung goals ng different groups. So this time sa inyo ba, sa grupo niyo ba, meron ba kayong meron ba kayong goal sa grupo ninyo? Ano yung specific goal ninyo? May specific goals ba kayo?
For BTM ba yan, Pas, na question? Or
Yes, for BTM. Kasi wala pa naman kayong small group talaga na... Kasi I understand. Eto na lang. The reason why we are discussing this kasi you opened it up to me before, no? Last year, tama ba ako, Obed, no?
Yes,
Together
Pas.
with JM, na we discussed that you are planning to have a counseling group or to have a psychospiritual group, no? Na will cater certain issues, no? But for now, wala pa naman tayo noon. So we're talking about your BTM. But think of the group that you want to establish, no? What kind of group that you want to establish, no? Perhaps specific group of people meeting together and help the group of people to overcome whatever issues that they have. So think of those things, no, para meron kayo ma-connect ninyo yung mga pinagsasabi ko sa whatever groups that you are planning to create. Okay. So let's talk about let's try to zoom in what is inside the group or the psychosocial or the psychospiritual group. Okay, so let's understand the definition of group process. Group process is the continuous ongoing movement of the group toward achievement of its goal. So kung ano yung movement sa loob ng group, yun yung tinatawag natin na group process, no? It represents the flow of the group from its starting point to its termination. So from the start to termination, that is the group process. So it is a means of identifying or describing the stages through which the group passes. So another thing that I want to also define this time is a group dynamic, no? Ano yung group process? Yung anong movement ng group, no, toward achieving the goal. That is the group process. Ano naman ang group dynamic? It refers to the social forces and interplay operative within the group at any given time. So it describes the interaction of a group, how the group interact with each other. What's the dynamic, no? It can indicate the impact of leadership, the group roles, and membership participation in groups. So that is group dynamics. So group process and group dynamics is very important. When you create a group, you need to know what kind of process do you want to, just wait kasi nalubat ako. Just what kind of process do you want to see, no, in the group? And then what kind of dynamic also? So very important itong dalawa na ito. So like for example, sa group dynamics and process natin, gusto natin makita sa members natin, no? So we want to see in the group na they will feel accepted by the group. And then they want to know what is expected, and we want to see also we want also to see na they belong, and then they feel safe. So that's what we want. So from that, we will know how to have a process going to that kind of group. So that's really important. Kasi kumbaga you want a group to kumbaga to be a safe place to share. So what kind of process are we going to do for the group to have that, no? So if these are not present sa grupo natin, members will tend to be hostile and withdrawn or apathetic. So kung walang ganito sa grupo natin, they will be hostile and they will withdraw. So that's very important. And then also we want also the things that the leaders must give some thought to, no? Ito yung consideration na gawin natin as a leader. So Do the members seem to like each other? If you evaluate your group this time, or if you evaluate kung ano yung grupo naman, gusto ba ng mga members mo na pupunta sa grupo ninyo na mag-meet together, or parang ayaw na nila or napipilitan lang sila? Or do the members seem to feel comfortable with each other? Do the members have a sense of belonging to the group? Do they feel belong to the group? Do the members seem to know what is expected in the group? So those are the questions that we need to answer. So if the answer to the above is no, the leader will have to contend with what is called anti-therapeutic forces. So parang baka meron tayo mga anti-therapeutic forces. Like for example, baka ang leader parang gusto lang niya magsalita ng magsalita. Or ang mga members, every time yung isang member magsasalita, binabara ng isang member. Tapos pinababayaan lang ng leader na ibabara siya, no? Or masyadong walang anong tawag niyan, masyadong walang empathy sa bawat isa. So the leader should understand, the leader should evaluate kung anong nangyayari sa grupo ko, anong dynamic meron kami, bakit ganito ang grupo ko. So yun yung importante talaga. Okay. Siguro hindi ko na to sasabihin, no? Itong mga bagay na factors, curative factors, operant. I will just share this to you na lang kasi baka makulangan ako sa time ko. So, sa grupo ba ninyo, there are, ano yung dapat i-consider natin when we have a group, no? So, when you start a group, these are the things that you need to pay attention to really see to it na pag-isipan natin before tayo gagawa ng grupo. Okay? So, first is the group size. Anong group size ang kailangan nating gamitin? So group size will depend on the purpose, length of time of each session, needs of the members, the setting available, and the experience of the leader. So like for example, kung education group siya or guidance group siya, pwede na yung 4 to 12. No? Pero kung discussion group siya, pwede na yung 5 to 8. Pero pag personal groups or counseling group siya, or therapy group siya, mutual sharing group siya, 5 to 8 lang siya. No? So 5 to 8. Although pwede siyang maging 15, pero baka mahirapan ka na mag-handle. So kung gano'n na kadami, dapat may co-facilitator ka na or may anong tawag yan? Co-leader ka na. Kasi malaki. Pero mas maganda, mas maliit. Like for example, 5 to 8. Pwede na yon. Because two larger groups, no? Kung masyadong malaki ang groups, may make the members feel frustrated and less effective, no? Kasi minsan hindi na sila makapag-share, no? Kung too small naman, members may feel na too much pressure kasi ako na naman pasalitain. Hala, ako na naman, balik na naman sa akin kasi konti lang kayo, no? So yun yung problema doon pagka maliit naman. So dapat tama-tama lang yung group size natin. And then session length, ano ba? Too short ba? Members may feel that they have no chance to share pag short naman yung length. So group never really accomplishes much of the sharing, may never get to be personal. Pero when it comes to session length talaga, no? When we talk about discussion sa task group, usually 1 to 2 hours. Pag task group naman siya. Pag therapy support or growth group siya, 1.5 hours lang. So, ang pinaka-maximum yan is 3 hours. Itong therapy support or growth groups, no? Pero pag children yung minute mo, no? The length may be shorter kasi konti lang yung time, konti lang yung span nila na yung attention nila, no? Attention span nila. 30 minutes lang. So 30 minutes lang din yung group mo. So if the leader has 1 hour, group should be small unless it is an educational group. Bakit educational group okay lang 1 hour? Kasi nagle-lecture ka lang naman, no? But if the group is any larger, members may have very little time to speak. Lalong-lalo na pagka group siya or counseling group siya, tapos 1 hour lang, tapos marami sila. Nako, hindi sila makapag-share ng maayos. So another thing is yung setting natin, no? Pag sinabi nating setting, let's consider yung convenience nila, no? Kailan ba yung time nila na convenient sila? Tapos when we talk about the privacy of the person, no? Paano ba tayo lalong-lalo na when we plan to create a very sensitive group, no, of people. So when you have this kind of group of people, tapos halimbawa, like for example, you create people who are hiding their gender identity. Like for example, they are homosexuals and the people don't know that they are. So, and you want them to meet together. Very important talaga yung privacy nila. So you need to really think on how they will be, how they will be protected and how you will give them the assurance that they will not be damaged because of the group that you are handling. So the comfortability of the person naman, like for example, how can they be comfortable? No, meron ba kayong a place na pwede ninyong mapuntahan na they will be feel comfortable? Hindi lang naman yan sa upuan or sa ano. Like for example, that they feel safe ba when they go to that place, no? And then the decorations, no? Pwede din yun. And then the lighting. At meron pa yung seating arrangements. Lahat yun. Settings yun, no? Comfortable chairs. Sometimes, no, pag yung comfortable chairs, like for example, maliit ang isa, tapos malaki ang isa. Yung isa nakaupo sa maliit. Kuhan yan ka. Parang kumbaga, hindi ako special kasi maliit lang ang chair ko. Alam nyo yun? Lahat ng may mga meanings yun sa kanila. So kailangan mo rin yung pag-isipan na dapat pareho sila lahat ng mga chairs or something na ganun. And then loud chairs are not advisable. Why? Kasi pagka yung members may tend to relax, no, and not get involved in the process. So mas maganda yung chair na yung parang monoblock chair or something na ganun. So use of tables naman is not encouraged, no? Pwera na lang pag educational and task group siya. So, pero pagka counseling group siya or growth group siya, mas maganda pag walang tables para walang barrier. No? Another thing is yung member composition naman. Anong klaseng members, close ba or open? When we say close, yung kumbaga from the first session until the termination, yun lang talaga yung mga tao, yung group of people na kasama doon. Pag open naman siya, pwede din, no? But you need to understand kung ano like, for example, gumawa kayo ng grupo na about anong tawag yan, yung addiction, no? So, yung iba patapos na, tapos yung iba papapasok pa lang. So, baka masyado siyang lag at saka nagkaroon ng alliance sa loob ng grupo, tapos wala siyang alliance, baka mas lalo siyang maka-feel na he is excluded, no? So, dapat pag-isipan din natin yung member composition. So, it would be nice if the members are voluntary also. Yung hindi ba force na, nandito siya kasi pinapapasok siya ng anak, ng mama niya, ng papa niya. So, mahihirapan ka rin mag-handle ng mga ganon, no? So like for example, pag merong ganong tao, yung involuntary or hindi niya gusto na nandun siya, so ang pwede mong gawin, like sabihin mo lang na, I realize that some of you do not want to be here and probably you are thinking that this is a complete waste of time, Pero just try it, just sit down, and then let's see, baka meron ka rin makuha from this group. So pwedeng ganun lang para maka-feel siya na, okay, I'll just give it a try. No? Pero pag hindi talaga siya, like for example, it's not involving, and not just he's not involving, parang kumbaga, destructive pa siya, no? Tama ba yung word ko? Nagdi-disrupt siya sa mga pinag-uusap or disinterested siya. So, pwede mo na siyang tanggalin sa grupo or mag-individual na lang kayo para hindi siya makaka-affect sa grupo. And then level of goodwill. So it means that the members attempts to be helpful rather than disruptive or hostile. So yun yung isipin, paano ba sila mag-help one another? Yung hindi sila destructive. So pag merong mga conversation killers na mga tao doon sa loob. Like for example, merong magsasalita tapos kinakat niya. So as a leader, you need to maneuver, no? Help the person na hindi niya makikil yung conversation. So kasi merong iba dominant masyado, gusto lang sila magsasalita, so the leader will take over. And then also the level of commitment, no? So we need also to see paano ba, how will they be committed in joining, no? So commitment is low. When commitment is low, members will tend to go off track. So sometimes lulubog, lilitaw, no? Pupunta, hindi, ganun. So try to talk with the person, no? So try to know kung bakit hindi siya masyadong committed. And then next is the level of trust. Even though high level of commitment siya, nandun siya, pupunta siya doon, pero sometimes hindi mo makikita yung trust niya, no? So trust will usually develop over time, so as a group moves in positive directions. So in groups na masyadong low ang trust, no? Kailangan natin ng yung alam mo yung try to create a place or an environment na maka-feel siya na safe siya, no? So paano mo yung gagawin? Dapat meron tayong house rules, no? Before mag-start ang session. So kailangan meron tayong house rules, and sila mismo ang gagawa ng house rules na yun. So doon mismo, because of that house rules, matutulungan natin ang grupo na magkaroon ng safe environment. Kasi doon sa house rules na yun, pag-usapan natin kung ano yung mga do's and don'ts, no? Like for example, yung pag may nagsasalita, huwag mo nang mag-butt in. Sila yung mismo, sila mismo ang gagawa ng house rules na yun. Then members' attitudes towards each other. So how will they like for example, pag meron, yun yung sinabi ko kanina, pagka yung meron na kasi mga alliance yan. Like for example, no, kampi ko si Obed, tapos kampi ko si JM, tapos sila kalaban natin, yung ganun. Yung merong ganun, so you need to remove that, no? So kailangan natin gawin, ipa-feel sa kanila na yes, we are one. Hindi tayo kanya-kanya dito. And then members' attitudes toward leader. Baka negative yung attitude niya towards you. Baka may transference na nangyayari. So you need also to address that. And then leader's attitude towards members. Halimbawa, for example, you're a leader and then pagkatapos meron kang bias sa mga tao na mga homosexuals. Tapos nabuo ka ng grupo na homosexuals, tapos ayaw mo sila. Baka masaktan mo lang sila. So you need to also know yung baka may mga biases ka, no? So or like for example, pag meron kang members na force sa group or hostile, involuntary members, tapos nagagalit ka sa kanila. So you need to see to it na ipaprocess mo muna yon, no? Para hindi ka nakakasira ng members mo. and interaction pattern of members and leaders. So, paano yung interaction patterns? Therapeutic ba siya or hindi, or nakakasira? Then try to evaluate it. So, and then the stage of group, no? Groups go through stages. So there's beginning stage, dynamic, will usually be discomfort, numbers. So feeling mo, hala, parang ayaw ko nang pagpatuloy itong grupo na to kasi masyadong messy ang group na to, no? Sige lang kasi nag-start pa lang naman kayo. So wag mong madaliin na okay na kaagad, safe na kaagad yung feeling nila sa iyo. No, hindi. Try to gain their trust as you go journey with them, no? So, and then until the middle and closing stages, of which iba na namang dynamic ang mapipil mo. So during each stage, the leader needs to be aware of the different dynamics and then lead the group in such a way to attend to them. So those are the things na kailangan natin tingnan when we create a group. Wala na siguro akong time. Wag na natin itong pag-usapan yung iba. Bed, parang
Okay
30
lang po,
minutes na
Pas.
lang.
Or maybe you want na to share other things in another session kung meron kayong free time, in the future, like February, March, April. Pero yes, we can cut here, no, para more time for a question and answer.
Yeah, yes. So pwede. Kasi gusto ko rin pag-usapan next time kung yung ano na ba ang gagawin natin pag nasa loob na tayo ng session. Like for example, I want to talk about the phases of group development, no? Like for example, ano yung gawin natin sa planning, no? Planning stage of doing or creating a group. Anong pwede natin gawin sa planning? And then sa actual groupings or actual or the beginning of the group session, anong pwede natin gawin, no? And then how to terminate also. Kung kailangan natin i-terminate yung group na yan. So, yun, gusto kong pag-usapan din yun. Hindi to pwede na parang, kumbaga, kulang kasi tayo sa time kung ubusin ko yun ngayon. So,
Sige, Pas,
doon lang
no
muna
problem.
tayo. Oo. Okay.
Okay.
So this time, I want to ask kung baka meron tayong mga questions, no? And then I'll try to answer it. Tapos baka meron din sa inyo na may mga naisip na answer. You can also help me come up with a good answer.
Okay, so maybe we can end share na Pas, and I'll stop
Okay.
recording.